Hi, my name is Noah Smith, and today I invite you on a journey through a hidden territory, one that is often overlooked, yet deeply powerful, the vibrational universe of language. In this realm, every syllable holds intention, every sentence plants a seed of reality, and every word carries the potential to heal, to hurt, to transform, or to awaken something deep within us. Because before we are body, we are sound. Before we act, we speak. And perhaps, before we are even human, we are the verb itself. Let's begin with something fundamental. Human beings are the only creatures that give names to things. And though this may seem like a simple act, it holds a profound ancestral power. To name something is more than to identify it. It's to forge a connection. It's to bring it closer. It's to include it within the symbolic universe of our awareness. When we give something a name, we are shaping the world in our image. We project our soul onto reality. We make the invisible touchable. Words are not just sounds. They are bridges that connect inner worlds to outer ones. They link what we feel to what we express, what we intuit to what we bring into form, what we dream to what we decide. It is through language that ideas are transformed into action, through language that emotion becomes reality. And this is not new. Ancient philosophies have long sensed this mystery. Plato believed that everything we see is merely a reflection of eternal ideas. So, to name something would be to capture a glimpse of its divine essence. Centuries later, Heidegger would say, "Language is the house of being, and in a very real way, we live within the words we choose." Every expression doesn't just shape the outer world, it rearranges the inner rooms of our soul. Now, when we step into the spiritual dimension, this power becomes even more amplified. A simple affirmation like, "I can," or "I am weak," carries a vibrational frequency. These frequencies don't disappear. They echo across the universe. They ripple into the field of reality. Words shape our world, not through magic, but through resonance. Every word is a prayer. Every repetition, an enchantment. To tell yourself "I'm incapable" is to cast an unconscious spell. To look into the eyes of a child and say, "You are light," is to give a blessing that might last a lifetime. Speaking is not just a means of communication. It is an act of creation, and every word we speak with, awareness, becomes a bridge, a sacred bridge between the human and the divine. The subtle energy of words. Not all energy can be seen. Some forms of energy are felt, sensed, absorbed in silence, like the energy of words. At first glance, words seem to be just organized sounds, vibrations traveling through the air that reach our ears. But on a deeper level, one that escapes the eyes and bypasses logic, every word carries a subtle frequency, a unique vibrational signature. And this idea is far from new. Since ancient times, sound has been viewed as a creative force. In Hinduism, for example, the mantra Om is not just a sacred syllable. It is the primordial sound, the vibration that came before all others, the cosmic echo of the universe's birth. In Jewish mysticism, it is believed that the world was created through the letters and words spoken by God. In Christianity, the Word is the divine expression of creation itself. More recently, experiments by researchers like Masaru Emoto attempted to show that words filled with love and gratitude create harmonious crystal structures in water, while words of hatred and anger distort its form. Even if these ideas don't yet belong to the realm of established science, the image is powerful. The words we speak shape the world around us, and more importantly, the world within us. Because we are, quite literally, made mostly of water. And if water reacts to sound, imagine how our cells respond when we repeat over and over again, "I'm a failure," or "Nothing ever works out for me." Every time we speak, we emit frequencies. Words of anger, judgment, or contempt generate inner noise, imbalance, and confusion. Words of love, truth, and acceptance bring order, harmony, and elevation. And this doesn't apply only to those who hear them, but especially to those who speak them. That's why spiritual traditions across the world value prayers, affirmations, invocations, and sacred chants, not just as religious rituals, but as vibrational practices. To repeat a mantra is not superstition. It is a way of tuning yourself to a higher frequency. It is a way of remembering, through sound, who you truly are, in essence. In everyday life, we may not always have time to recite long mantras or enter deep meditation, but we always have the power to be mindful of the words we use, with ourselves and with others. We hold, in silence and in choice, the ability to nurture a language that heals, inspires, and uplifts. Because every word is a vibrational seed, and what we emit echoes. What we speak returns. What we vibrate shapes the world around us. For the inner dialogue. Not every word that shapes us is spoken aloud. Sometimes it's the quiet ones, the ones we murmur inwardly, without even noticing, that hold the greatest power. These silent, repetitive phrases slowly construct or erode the landscape of our inner world. This is what we call the inner dialogue. It's that constant voice inside our minds, present since childhood. It comments on our actions, questions our decisions, magnifies our flaws. But it can also offer warmth, direction, and elevation, depending entirely on the language it has learned to use. And where did it learn that language? From the voices we once heard. Parents, teachers, friends, even passing strangers. If we were often told, "You're not good enough," "Don't try that," or "That's foolish," it's likely that this same voice still echoes in our minds, even now, as adults. Like an old record, scratched and looping, playing the same messages over and over. The incredible thing is, our body believes that voice. Our nervous system reacts to it. Our emotions follow its tone. The unconscious mind cannot tell the difference between what's real and what's imagined. It only knows what it hears repeatedly, truth or not. This is why every phrase you say to yourself becomes a spiritual command. When you look in the mirror and think, "I'm not enough," "I always fail," or "I'm unlovable," you're planting those words like seeds, and over time, they grow into the way you feel, the way you act, and the way you see yourself. These are not just thoughts. They are unconscious mantras, reversed affirmations that quietly drain your energy and dim your light. But just as you once learned to speak with judgment, you can learn to speak with compassion. Just as fear once shaped your inner voice, love can reshape it. And that change begins with awareness. A single gentle decision to pay attention to what you say to yourself. Ask yourself, have I really listened to the way I speak inside my own mind? Would I talk to a friend the same way I talk to myself? To rewrite your inner dialogue is a sacred act of self-love. It is stepping out of harshness and into presence. It is replacing, "I'll never make it," with, "I'm still learning." It is choosing to say, "I'm growing," instead of, "I'm weak." It is affirming, "I deserve to exist in love," instead of, "I'm not worthy." You don't need to believe it all at once. Just begin by saying it. Because even in silence, the verb carries power. Every word you speak within yourself is like breath. It can harm or it can heal. And when you speak to yourself with truth, with gentleness, and with love, the universe listens, and without fail, it responds. Words that wound, words that heal. Some words heal, others wound us quietly, leaving marks so deep it can take years to notice. We all carry memories like that, moments when a single phrase, spoken by someone we loved or admired, either broke our spirit or brought us back to life. Maybe you remember hearing as a child, "You'll never amount to anything," or perhaps, "You're not cut out for this." Even if time has passed, those words stay, etched like invisible tattoos on your emotional body. They don't just hurt, they shape who you believe you are. They influence your decisions, chip away at your confidence, and make you step back before you even begin. But there is another side, the luminous side of language. The phrase someone once whispered to you in a painful moment, "I believe in you. You matter. It's going to be okay." And just like that, something shifts. The power of words lies not only in their sound, but in the intention behind them, in the energy they carry, in the soil they find within the one who hears them. That's why so many spiritual traditions hold the word as sacred. In Judaism, it's said, "The tongue has the power of life and death." In shamanic wisdom, words are invocations. In Christianity, blessings are spoken healing. To speak is to perform a spiritual act, whether in rituals or in the everyday moments of life. A careless remark can crush someone's self-worth. A heartfelt compliment can heal years of doubt. A single kind word can be the reason someone chooses to keep going. Language is a sacred tool or a weapon. It all depends on how we use it and the awareness we bring to every sentence. So before you speak, pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself, will my words wound or will they heal? Because sometimes true power doesn't lie in being right, but in planting peace. And the value of silence. In a world overflowing with constant noise, silence has become a forgotten form of wisdom. We are surrounded by voices, urgency, and endless distractions. Everything around us pulls us outward. Everything seems to demand an immediate response. But beneath all the sound, there is another language, one that exists before any word is spoken. It is the language of silence. Silence is not the absence of something. It is the presence of everything. In silence, the soul finds rest. The heart becomes truly able to listen. And it is there, in that stillness, that consciousness begins to reveal itself. In the Zen Buddhist tradition, silence is considered the language of the absolute. It does not reject words. It simply recognizes that words have a limit. At some point, to access truth, we must go beyond them. Silence becomes the doorway. Every sacred conversation eventually arrives at this threshold. There comes a moment when sound must bow to silence. And in that moment, real listening begins, not through the ears, but through the soul. Christian mysticism tells the story of the prophet Elijah. He sought God in mighty forces, in the wind, the earthquake, the fire. But God was not there. Instead, God came through a gentle whisper. That whisper still exists. It is available to anyone willing to become still, to anyone who dares to pause, to not know, to simply be present in the space between one word and the next. In music, it is silence between the notes that gives shape to the melody. In speech, it is the pause that brings meaning to a phrase. And in life, it is silence that reveals what truly matters. To be silent is not to hide. It is to make space for something deeper, something more real. It is a gesture of presence, of listening, of reverence. Perhaps the greatest wisdom today is not found in saying more, but in quieting the inner noise, in creating space for the sacred to speak, not through words, but through stillness. The word as a seed. Every word we speak is like a seed cast into the soil of existence. Even when we're not aware of it, everything we say finds a place to land. And in that place, it begins to take root, to transform, and eventually to leave a mark. Some of these seeds grow quietly, unfolding their influence over time. Others bloom instantly, the moment they touch someone's heart. There are words that carry healing for wounds we thought would never close. And there are words that, unfortunately, can open wounds we didn't know we still carried. But no matter the intention, every word holds power. The power to begin something. Because words don't just describe reality, they help shape it. They begin gestures, they spark memories, they move hearts, shift perspectives, and sometimes change destinies. When we speak without care, we plant thorns. But when we speak with presence, with kindness, with truth, we create gardens, places where beauty can take root and healing can begin. Every phrase has the potential to be a blessing, a prayer, a ripple of healing that travels outward and somehow finds its way back to us. The world around us, our relationships, our homes, even our digital spaces, is largely shaped by the language we choose to use. And the most powerful part of that? We get to choose. We get to choose the kind of seeds we want to plant, starting now. Maybe your shift begins in small ways. Before going to bed, speak a word that uplifts your spirit. Before starting your day, choose a word that can guide your steps. Words like peace, trust, compassion, presence, simple sacred directions pointing you back to who you truly are. This isn't about magical formulas. It's about sacred reminders. Reminders of the person you're becoming, of the energy you're offering to the world. And if each person on this planet planted just one good word each day, just one, the very soil of our shared humanity would begin to change. Our waters would be clearer, our encounters more tender, our connections more true. Because the word heals, the word rebuilds, the word is divine. And if you've come this far, something in you already knows this. Maybe a word once lifted you when you were lost. Maybe there's a word inside you now, still waiting to be spoken, still waiting to be healed. If this message touched your soul in any way, we'd love for you to share it with us. Leave a comment below. Tell us about a word that marked your life, or write the word you want to sow into the world, starting today. Your story might be the light someone else has been waiting for. And if you believe in the power of this message, subscribe to the channel. We're building a space together, one of reflection, awakening, and real human connection. Tap the bell to stay tuned for future content, and like this video if it resonated with your heart. Your presence here matters, and so does your voice, because the word is a gift, and when we use that gift with awareness, we become instruments of something greater than ourselves. This space is yours too. Here, we grow together, and when we rise together, everything changes. With respect, courage, and light, Noah Smith. See you in the next video.